Good morning. Hello, dear students. Today we are going to talk about Unit 3, A True Friend. This unit is supposed to focus on the relationship between friends together and the kinds of friends. Of course, we are not going to talk about it now. Today we are going to talk about the grammar lesson. Grammar here, we have to study past simple, past continuous, and past perfect. Of course, we aren't going to talk about them on details as we have already studied them before more and more. But today we are going to talk about the clear differences between the three states of tense. Then the most important thing is to understand, as I told you before, to understand why I should use a particular tense and not the other. For example, when you want to describe something in the past, to talk about an event that already finished and happened for one time in a certain point in time in the past, then we use the past simple. Yesterday, I visited my uncle. Last year, I visited Egypt, and so on. Then we have, as I told you, three conditions. The first one, it is an action in the past. Second one, it is happened for one time only. The third one, it has no relation with now. It is finished, completed and finished certainly in the past. Okay, that's one. Then to talk about a past continuous. Past continuous, it is mean to talk about something that was happening in a time in the past. So we have two parts in the title. It is past and it is continuous. Continuous means happened for a time. Then here we are focusing on the duration. I want to focus on the result of the action. When I say I was playing, then I am focusing on what I was doing in that time, not what I did in that time. It is clear? For example, when someone asks you what were you doing from 8 to 6 p.m. yesterday, you can say I was watching the film. Okay, then I or even the person who asked you didn't know whether you already finished watching the film or you may left for some time, or maybe you didn't continue watching the film because your dad came and ordered you not to complete that. Then in that time, I am focusing only what were you doing, not what did you do. Or, as he said here, an interrupted background action or description in the past. We often use while with this tense. It means what? If you realize in chapter 1 and 2 in David Copperfield, together when we read the story, it is filled with, it is completely have many examples of that tense, because it is the tense usually used by the writers and author to describe something. When you make events and you make some events during that something happened and interrupted it, we use that tense. So it is the tense of description in the past and interrupted background. For example, when I said yesterday while I was watching the TV, my mom asked me to do something. Then my mom took me out of watching and interrupted the watching process itself by doing another thing. So we call it interrupted background. Here, past perfect. Past perfect is A tense we use to make it clear that an event took place before another past event. It means to make a range. Something happened in the past. It is already two or more action that happened at the past, but some actions had already happened before the other. For example, yesterday I had studied well before I went to the exam. Then I have studied well. It means that you completed your study first, then you went to the exam. So we usually use before and after, and of course after followed by the past perfect, and before followed by the past simple. Then it is used simply to make arrangement to state that some verbs had already happened before the other. Of course, I just put some example to the form. Here in past simple, you know, subject plus verb in the past tense, in the second case of tense. To make a negative, just we use did not with the old subject. Here in past continuous, we have subject plus was and were. Was for he, she, it, and were for you, they, and we. And of course, I didn't mention the pronoun I, as it sometimes use was, and sometimes we use were in the second case of if. If I were you, I would study hard. Here the past perfect continuum of subject had plus past participle or PP as abbreviation. It means we use had, verb to have. We use had with the all 7 subjects. I, we, you, they, he, she, it, and the past participle of the main verb. And in the second part, as we say, it was to make arrangement or to say, clear something, an action took place before the other. So you suppose in the other part of the sentence we use the past simple. So we have subject had, past participle, I had studied, then before I went to school, or after I had studied, I went to school. And by this way we make it clear, and we just add some notes to make it clear the difference between simple past and simple past continuous and past perfect simple. I hope it is clear enough, and till we meet again, thank you, goodbye.